Now, Crow is a far more complex puppet, and perhaps appropriately, has a more complex history.
Originally, he was a completely different puppet. Starting from the top, his web was a child's high-ally stick thing, greatly trimmed and, of course, painted. His soap dish was a Rubbermaid butter dish. I've still got the bottom part! His eyes were rubber ping-pong balls, and in fact survived into the current version. And his beak
was one of these come-play bowling pins, which you may remember from my video about the biodegradable plastic bag. As you can see, it has a hole in the end, and it's not exactly flat, unlike here. If I recall correctly, I think I used a piece of thick cardstock.
His neck ring was a piece of black conduit pipe, I think that's what it's called.
Maybe that's what it's called.
And may also have survived into the current model. His torso is a pair of Rubbermaid containers, somewhat trimmed. The shoulders are a pair of spring-loaded metal coin storage things. This was a piece of white duck hose spray-painted black, because I couldn't find any black duck hose. Arms are a pair of metal desk lamps, not the nice Wallace lamp, and the bottom is a plastic bird bath.
The only thing that survives from that model are the eyes and the trigger, which came from a trigger attachment for silly string. Sadly, the Mark I Crow no longer exists. I'm pretty sure I threw him out when I moved. He was kind of falling apart as it was, and I bought this fiberglass tub, hoping to cut it into pieces to strengthen him. And then Jeff Kleist, aka Gypsy, who I helped him build a little bit, introduced me to Joe Crow.
Short for Joe Crothers, or Crowthers. Anyway, he makes and sells authentic and replica bought parts. I'd also bought 3 ever-ready floating lanterns, which, fortunately for me, were now out of print. I used 2 of the hoods for Tom's shoulders, gave one of the lamps to Jeff for Gypsy.
Trading those in, along with several green pieces of paper with dead presidents on them, I acquired
the Cooper XL7 hockey mask,
an authentic Empire bowling pin, an authentic set of Floraleer, or if you want to split hairs, 1 1/3 sets of Floraleer, and reproduction arms, shoulders, and soap dish. I think this part is probably also authentic.
And I finally installed an eye control mechanism in Crow. Ooh, creepy.
And the bottom sections I attached using, well, not actually JB Weld, but one of those knockoffs with deceptively similar packaging.
I've also made 6 more pairs of eyes, for a total of 7. The eyes can be switched out by removing the back plate, which is kind of wedged in there nice and tight. They're not going to fit. Yeah, put them through the back. That's good. Yeah. I was holding the camera in my mouth. Luke, etc., etc.
The back piece is not only removable, it's made of thick, non-corrugated cardboard, versus the other one, which was made out of corrugated cardboard and, as you can see here, glued into place and corrugated and basically piece of hoodoo. The overcome by fumes eyes.
Man, that's good Nyborg. Purple haze, you're in my brain. Literally. Experienced.
And this is Tom's stunt head after shooting Pink Eyes. Hey Crow, you seem to have a case of pink eye. Have you been sleeping with a porcupine cactus again?
Hey, don't knock porcupine cactuses. Porcupine cactuses are cool.
The old blue eyes.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where the heck are you, Scrappy-Dappy-Doo? You were the franchise, Ruby-Dooby-Doo.
You're supposed to have a lousy singing voice. Featureless white eyes. Annie, I want to adopt you.
Leaping lizards.
Basketball eyes.
Basketball Joe.
I can put that basketball underneath my pillow. Maybe that's why I can't sleep at night.
Thank you.
I also made these glow-in-the-dark eyes. the reason I'm showing them to you in here is because my demonstration with the puppet.
True, I may be nuclear powered, but it's perfectly safe. Do my eyes glow at all?
I also finally added these rings to his shoulders. Same type of stuff as his neck. I also modified Crow's hands. As you can see, originally they would open and close, and they would pivot. They would not, however, turn. Dude, be careful, you'll break it. Hey, careful! So I cut some dowel rods down to size, drilled some holes in them, and stuck them in a trimmed-down plunger from a Ramune bottle and with some Gorilla Glue. And then I made this custom stand so I could paint them. And they fit. And now they rotate.
Now, inside of his beak here, I have a double elastic, and if you can see up there, there is a cotter pin, which is, well, it is kind of visible, unfortunately, but what you gonna do? And so it's, let's see down here, it is tied. The knot is tied there. It goes up, then through the cotter pin, and then back down, and then it's tied here. So, you know, it's a little bit visible. I need to paint this a bit so it's less so, but also a bit off center. But that way it'll be easier to replace once it loses its elasticity.
Some refurbishment wasn't quite as successful. Now, initially Crow's web was held on by one cotter pin and a whole bunch of glue, and his soap dish was held on completely by glue and the fact that it had a shaft sticking through it. The shaft has been shortened in order to make way for the eye articulation mechanism.
So I figured if I used cotter pins for the soap dish and additional cotter pins for the web, I would be able to make them removable
And completely alleviate the need for glue.
As you can see, that's not exactly how it worked out. And sadly, they are not removable for easy transport as I'd initially hoped.
Another problem was the paint.
The correct paint is Tester's Lime Gold Metal Flake, 1642 in the spray bottle, and 1542 for the little bottle, which has for some reason shortened its name to Lime Gold. Those numbers have been now reassigned to Gloss Custom Gold Metal Flake, and, where the hell is it? Oh, there it is, Gold MF or Met.
It's short for oro. It's Spanish for gold, you wingnut.
Tom, you're supposed to do the voice.
No way. This is humiliating enough as it is.
And to make it worse, one store put the price tag over the name.
So the question was, did they discontinue the paint and reassign the numbers to new paints, or did they merely rename it? I ran some tests, and I don't know if it's clear here, but fortunately the latter was the case. A bigger problem was that the paint had not gone on smoothly, and was coming off anyway, so I very meticulously scraped off all the paint on Crow's beak. I didn't want to use chemicals because I was afraid they might damage the plastic or drip down and damage something else. And then, after what I thought was careful priming and painting, he still ended up looking kind of like Machete. All of this robot refurbishment did, of course, lead to a dirty floor. Of course I vacuumed it. Hey! I said, of course I vacuumed it! Hey, can you turn that down? I'm trying to narrate here!
So, see you at Otakon.
If you're wondering how he eats and breathes and never science fact, just repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax.
It's like people only do things because they get paid, and that's just really sad.